Welcome once again to the BCHS Bear Network. I'm your host, Gary Ownbey, being joined today by a longtime friend, longtime mainstay at Bradley Central, a fellow by the name of Steve Logsdon, who is currently serving as the Bradley Central cross-country coach. And Steve, we'll just jump into this, but before we get into cross-country, I want to mention, too, that you were a former wrestling coach here and a former wrestler at Bradley. Matter of fact, have the distinction of winning the very first state title that the Bradley individual won back in 1984, 167 pounds or so. You look like you're about that same wrestling weight.
Not too much heavier, not too bad.
But I know you were a tremendous wrestler, obviously a coach, and you were trained under the best, Turner Jackson.
I certainly was.
I'll ask you a question, too. I'd like to ask coaches, was there anyone in particular that inspired you to be a coach, a teacher, a mentor to the younger folks?
Coach Jackson.
I've heard you say that, and I want to get that out there.
Yeah, there's no question. You know, sometimes in life, you hope your parents play a role in your life as far as influence you, and mine certainly did. Mm-hmm. But then sometimes you need that extra other person, you know, and Coach Jackson was that guy for me, no doubt about it. I saw his lifestyle and the kind of guy he was. I said, I could do that. So maybe not as well as he did it, but I could try to, you know, emulate that lifestyle.
Well, you've done a great job, and you couldn't ask for a better role model than Coach Jackson there. And while we're on the topic of wrestling, I know you're working with the younger kids in a kids program. Tell us about that real quick.
Well, I took it over last year, and it was kind of gone down. Numbers had gotten low, and we decided to kind of rejuvenate it and get it going again and get the enthusiasm back in it. And so we tried to do that last year. We went from having like 16 kids to having 47 kids last year. I cut it off at 40. We had too many. I wanted like 45, but that's a lot for that
little wrestling room. You can't have too many programs like that.
Yeah, you got to be safe. And we had a great first season, you know, a lot of very, very young kids as far as experience goes. And this year we hope to build. Yeah. Well, it was supposed to be 5 to 12. When they get to the middle school, they go on to Lake Forest or whatever. But I took some 4-year-olds, some parents that were pretty enthusiastic about their kid wrestling. Well, so I took 3 or 4 4-year-olds, and some kids are ready at 4 and 5, and some aren't ready till they're 8 or 9. Mm-hmm. It depends on the wrestler. So, but it was good.
Well, let's talk about cross country. That's what we're here to discuss today. You take over the program here at Bradley Central. Who assists you in coaching? Do you have an assistant?
I do not. It is me.
And you're the man.
I'm the man. I'm the only guy. If I ain't there, then we got a problem.
How many years here at Bradley have you been in coaching? I know you're young to the cross country world. How about wrestling?
Yeah, I've been coaching for. I've been here for 30 years.
Okay.
And I've coached something, all but maybe a couple of them. So 27 years probably I've been a coach.
Okay. And speaking about your cross-country season, when do you have your first competitive meets, or have you already started that?
We start tomorrow.
Start tomorrow?
The Jamboree is tomorrow in Chattanooga.
Okay. And where will it be held?
It's at Woodland Baptist Church.
Okay.
And it's just a 2-mile Jamboree, and it's pretty unofficial.
So the whole area school, all areas will be there?
Chattanooga area. We compete a lot in North Georgia League. Also,
okay,
they're very organized.
When you compete here, let's say that you're the host team for a meet. Where would you normally run?
Well, we don't have a home course. That's the problem. Back in the old days, we had a lot of trails behind the school back here that are great trails, but the owners that closed that down to us years ago. We can't even practice back there, and it's a great place to practice and to run. When I was in high school, we always ran back there for wrestling, and cross country ran back there. And I hate to lose it, but we don't actually have a home course. It makes it difficult. You can't host a meet really without a home course.
Okay.
There's some places we could go, like say Fletcher Park, but the problem with Fletcher, we could use that, but the problem is parking. A lot of cars come in, a lot of parents come in for all these. You know, you may have 10 to 20 teams at a meet. Where are they going to park? And so that's a problem with Fletcher Park. You know, it's a logistics problem a little bit, and we're hoping to be able to get something together maybe next year, but we'll see. Well,
where do you? How do the kids train? I know I've seen them running around the school and out on the road around here all the time. Is that your group that we see a lot of times?
Yeah. We train on campus in the summertime. At the end, we'll go to Tinsley a lot and train there and look for some shade when it's really hot. And this time of year, I have spent more time this year than in the past driving them on a bus to Johnson Woods over here. They've opened that to the public now. Okay. Some great running trails there, mountain biking trails. Very again covered, shade. Great workouts that kind of mimic race day because of the trails. And then we will also take the bus over to Fletcher Park and run over there. So I try to get them off campus all I can. It gets pretty boring running on campus constantly over and over again. And you're on concrete. I like to get them off the road as much as we can. Right.
Well, now I know you're a fitness freak. I've seen you in all kinds of things, swimming laps at the Y, and you're working out. Do you ever run with the kids?
I can't run. I ran for 25. I raced triathlon for almost 25 years, and which involves running also. And then my hip started going south on me in 2009 or so, and I fought through it for a couple of years, and it hurt me worse. I actually had hip replacement 2 years ago. It got so bad I couldn't run since 2011. had hip replacement in 2017.
Okay.
And so it's not to the point I can run yet. I've talked to my surgeon. I'd like to be able to run again. My goal is to try to do one Ironman.
Wow.
But you're looking at 26.2 mile run, and you're looking at also a lot of training miles.
Yeah.
And my hips, I go out and try 2 and 3 and 4 miles at a time, and I can make it, but my hip is still gimpy.
Yeah.
So we're going to see where that goes. But in the meantime, I make up for that with mountain biking and cycling and lifting and swimming and things like that. So.
Well, I used to run a lot myself too, and we had a family issue. A granddaughter was born. that ended my running days for the most part.
Yeah.
But I did a lot of 5Ks, 10Ks, half marathons. Did one marathon. Well, I ran 2 marathons. I ran both in the same race, my first and last.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah.
That's grueling. And
I said the first marathon I did, probably that'd be it for me. Just do one. I did it and said, okay, that was an experience, but I'm done with it. Ended up running 5 more. Because later you start getting the itch again and go, I could run one more. Maybe I can break this time or break that time. And I went to Huntsville and went to different places in Chickamauga. And so
Huntsville's where I ran mine at.
It's flat. It's a good
City
course.
Marathon.
Rocket City Marathon. It's a good course.
Ran down there, and it was the coldest day the entire winter.
Yes,
and
early November.
Yeah, it was just horribly cold. I mean, it was 9 degrees for a low. One of those Canadian fronts come through, and it was 13 degrees, and they fired the gun. But I hit the wall about the 20-mile mark, and I told myself, I'm going to finish this by crawling on my hands and knees. But I finished standing up, so I was proud of that. But
good.
Now, cross country, it's different than basketball, football. It's the individual. It is all in your mind and the shape of your body to compete, and it's how hard you can drive yourself, I guess, to become successful, isn't it?
It is. You have to prepare yourself. I used to preach in wrestling all those years. You know, you can't do on match day what you didn't prepare your body for in practice. You can't pretend to be this superstar guy with guts on the day of the match if you didn't prepare yourself.
Yeah.
Well, cross country is very much that way. You can't go out and run 5:30 pace miles if you ran 7:30s in practice. So we push ourselves. We do speed work and hill repeats and intervals, and we do timed runs, and because you have to mimic that race day discomfort you're going to feel. I don't say pain. It's not really pain running. It's discomfort.
Yeah. Side stitches.
Because you can control it. Yeah. When you stop, it ends usually. And but we have to prepare that way so we can race that way. And some kids get it early, and some kids are not as tough-minded. They have to learn how to be tougher, and but it's a journey.
Well, when you go to a meet now, how many runners can you run, boys and girls? Is there a limit to how many you can put on in that particular competition?
There's a JV meet, and then there's a varsity meet. JV's unlimited, and then in the varsity meet you can run in Tennessee. You can run 5 runners varsity, and that's not right. You can run 7. I'm sorry. You can run 7 varsity, and 5 of them score for you.
Count the 5 fastest times.
Yeah, 5 fastest times. And in Georgia, we live in the Georgia League sometimes. We run North Georgia, and you can run 9 there on varsity. But if I have kids aren't ready for varsity, which I don't, I'll run 6 or 7 on varsity, and then let the rest run JV, get their feet wet to learn how to compete, and then bump them up as they're ready to do that.
Is that boys and girls now?
They run separately.
Run separately.
There's 4 races. Each meet you go to, there's 4 races.
2 JVs.
2 JVs and 2 varsities. Yes.
Boys and girls. Let's talk about some of your runners. Who's coming back that you're looking to be your lead runners? Or
well, last year we had Jacob Garrett last year, who was our best runner, and he was our class valedictorian and just a good guy. He's at college now in Missouri, and but we have Lucas Fennell's back. Lucas was number 2 to Jacob a lot last year, and Kurt West has done a great job. He's really come on and really pushing Lucas in practice every day. And we have some guys that are really getting better and better and better. Those 2 guys have the most experience, though.
Okay. As you move through the season, get toward the postseason. Now, where will the postseason events be held at? Are they move around, or
it's only region and state? They do move around, and there's no district or section or anything in cross country. And the region this year is in Cookeville.
Okay.
It's been at Camp Jordan the last 2 years in East Ridge. That's a 25-minute drive. Now we got a Cookeville drive to go to this year, but that's okay. But you have all the region runs. I'm talking about maybe 160, 170 runners. You have to be in the top 10 to go to the state meet.
Oh, okay.
We went last year. Jacob did. Over in Nashville, and I think maybe Percy Warner Park is the name of it. But anyway, you have to be in the top 10, so you got to be pretty quick.
You pretty
quick guy.
So you wanted to peak at the right time. Then.
Yes, absolutely.
Well, we're in the middle of a terrible heat spell. How does that affect you and your runners? Do you send them out in the heat, or you just give them the day off?
Well, you got to be smart. Sometimes you have to forget the old school. Just in the old days, they'd throw salt tablets at us and just be tough-minded. Be tough, and well, you get somebody hurt that way. Heat stroke, heat exhaustion, and these kids are getting their pulse rates up to 160, 170, and you're in that tremendous heat, and the humidity is really high. The heat index. It's just dangerous. You got to be smart. In fact, last week I canceled practice one day last week for the first time in 3 years. Only time I've ever done it in cross country, because it was 108 degree heat index.
Wow,
that's too much.
Yeah.
The day before we'd been inside and rode the spin bikes and did a running through the hall just to to stay out of the heat. But that next day I said, you know what, y'all just go home. This evening it cools down a lot. Let's get a run late on your own. And you got to put safety first for these kids.
Oh, yeah.
But usually you can work it out where we'll go to some woods. When you get in the woods and the shade hits you, it really changes things a lot. We hydrate well. I really stress hydration. Water. We carry water with us. And I think if you're careful, you can go out and run into some pretty hot stuff, especially as they get in better and better physical shape.
Along that same line, I asked you earlier, you don't really have a diet that you prefer them to just eat sensible,
yes.
Especially as you build up to the meats and stuff like that. And
just
really stay hydrated is a key thing.
It's huge. And just eat a well-rounded regular diet, and you're pretty much good to go in cross country. We talked about a marathon. In marathon, there's much more preparation with carbohydrate loading and things like that, and how much glycogen is in your bloodstream. In a 5K race, most of us carry around enough of that in our bloodstream to sustain us through a 5K race. We don't need to carbo load or anything, but you have to eat a sensible, good diet to get the vitamins and minerals you need. And like you said, it's hydration.
Yeah.
Hydration.
Well, Steve, we appreciate you taking time out of your busy schedule today to be here to tell us about the cross-country team and what efforts goes into that. We wish you the best of luck throughout the season, on into the postseason. And for BCHS, now all our coaching interviews, we've got a series that's coming up. You can watch them on BCHS.tv on the internet. You can see them on YouTube. You can see them on Facebook at BCHS Bear Network. So they'll all be there for your viewing entertainment. And just enjoy those. We hope you enjoy them. And with that, we'll sign off saying, God bless and go Bears.